What's up, positive bitches? How are we doing today? If you're hearing this episode, then you are meant to be here, so keep listening. On that Bitches Positive podcast, sometimes we will laugh, other times, baby girl, we're gonna cry, but we will always walk away feeling our most empowered, positive bitch self. That is Babe in true connection with herself. On this podcast, we unbecome who we are not, so we can fully step into exactly who we came here to be. So maybe you've outgrown your old life and you're wondering, what do I do now? So many of us cling to our familiarity, and trust me, I get it. We want to go back to what we know because it seems easier, but it's only easier in the moment. Staying in stagnant waters will keep us permanently miserable. If you've come across this video, most likely have quantum leaped in the recent weeks with the solar eclipse. You most likely are experiencing changes in your life right now that seem pretty scary because you have never been faced with these circumstances. Maybe you're feeling lost or confused, but you also have this inner knowing of, well, if this is happening, it must be happening for my highest good. Let me just tell you, the universe does not happen to us, it unfolds for us. And if we're having trouble understanding that, we need to listen to today's episode. Today, we're going to see our circumstance, as painful as it may be, from a higher perspective so we can reclaim our power. Let me tell you something. The truth, it might be ugly, it might be scary, it might be frightening, but baby girl, the truth will set you free. So how ugly is your truth? And I want you to scream it out today, because that is what we positive bitches are all about. We're not about this toxic positivity. We're not about pretending like everything is okay. Sometimes we are a beautiful mess. So let it be, let it be, let it be. Before we get into today's episode, it's only right that I remind you, if you have not yet gotten your copy of Show Up As Her, this is my upcoming book. It comes out April 30th, but you can pre-order it now. The link will be in the show notes. I give you 10 laws of positive bitchology on how to reclaim your power, positive manifestation, and of course, how to master magnetic energy so you can get anything and anyone that you want. If any of my reels, TikToks, podcasts, posts have ever helped you in any way, please support the launch of this book. It would mean the world to me. I impressed on these pages positive energy. So just by holding this book, you're going to feel an uplift in your vibration. You're going to learn about how to take your power back from every different sphere of your life you can think about. It's in this book. I really don't leave anything out. I know you're going to love it, and it is truly my gift to you. If you're not yet following me on Instagram, follow me there at Vibin with Cece. Again, this link will be in the show notes, where I post daily tips and tricks on how to master your magnetic energy. Without further ado, let's get into today's episode. We are going to sometimes feel scared, but that cannot be a red light for us to stop living our life. It can't be. Anytime we feel scared, I want us to pay special attention, because that usually means something really amazing could possibly be taking place. You have to understand, we're always going to want to go back to the familiar, because our ego wants to organize this unpredictable, non-linear world into stories. It wants to know, when do I go to work? What time do I wake up? What is the route to get there? How do I be this person? And it wants to repeatedly do that over and over and over again. But life does not work that way. Now, does it? No. We are going to go through changes. And when there is change in our life, I truly see it as an invitation to level up. I see it as an invitation, nature's way of interrupting the known so that we can go further than we've ever gone before, further than we've ever even thought we could go. Change can be scary. Change can be overwhelming, but it also can be the best thing that has ever happened to you. If you know you're not enjoying the life that you've been living, most likely you've outgrown it. And in order to take the next step, change has to happen. God is the spirit that calls us to adventure. If you're feeling that internal call, listen to it. Don't let your ego lead you with fear. Your ego will say, no, that's not you. No, you can't do that. That's not how you live. You're not allowed to have more joy, more fun, more love. You have to accept the bare minimum. You have to settle. You have to stay in this life. That's what our ego tells us out of fear. If you are making decisions out of fear, you're not making them from the right place. We need to be making decisions from our intuitive self. We need to be making decisions from a place of, even if it's scary, I'm going to do it anyway because I know this is a bridge to a better life. Sometimes we're going to be scared, but guess what? We have to move forward anyway. Our feeling of being scared is not final. And also, it can't dictate our whole entire life. We should listen to our emotions. They are the passengers on the plane. And if a passenger asks for water, we would acknowledge that passenger. However, our feelings are not the pilot. They are not the ones steering the plane. Our brain will always want to go back to what it has known. It wants uniformity. It wants direction. It wants familiarity. So if you're outgrowing your old life and you're feeling a lot of pain, a lot of this is simply a brain game. A lot of it is a brain game. You have to get your brain on board with what your new life is going to look like. Instead of your brain telling you who you're going to be and how to live out of fear, we have to start telling our brain, no, actually, this is what I'm choosing out of free will. Free will over fear. Because if we're choosing out of fear, we're actually not using our free will. We're letting our monkey brain, our tribal brain, make all the decisions for us. Looking back is not going to help you. It will cause you to trip while trying to move forward. Now, there is a story in the Bible, and it doesn't matter if you read the Bible or not. We can learn from anything and anyone. Genesis 19 tells the story of the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. Lot, Abraham's nephew, lived in Sodom with his family. His daughters were engaged to local men. Lot was sitting at the gate of Sodom, the area where financial and judicial transactions took place, when two angels came into town. Lot invited them to stay with his family. After a rather exciting evening, the angels made sure Lot, his wife, and his two daughters left before God destroyed the city. As they fled, the angels warned them, "Escape for your life and do not look behind you, and do not stay anywhere in the valley. Escape to the mountains or you will be swept away." So these two angels come to town and they tell Lot, you gotta leave and don't look back because this place is going to be destroyed. So what happens is Lot runs, his daughters are close behind him, but his wife from behind him looks back and she became a pillar of salt. Because she turned and watched the flaming sulfur fall from the sky, consuming everything she valued, it then consumed her. The Hebrew term for look back means more than to glance over one's shoulder. It means to regard, to consider, to pay close attention to. The scriptures don't say whether her death was a punishment for valuing her old life so much that she hesitated in obeying, or if it was a simple consequence of her reluctance to leave her life. Either way, she identified too much with her past, too much with her old story, too much with her old self-concept that she neglected to look forward. If you don't look forward, this story is telling us you'll be so consumed by your past, so doomed by your past, that you will just turn into a pillar of salt. How do we move forward? Let me tell you first how you're not going to be able to move forward. This is what not to do. Stop looking back at your past. It's not here right now. It's not here right now. And if you keep looking backwards, that's where your mind's going to go. That's where your emotions are going to go. That's where your whole entire energy is going to go back to. And then what happens? We end up dragging our past into our present and then our future. And we end up repeatedly manifesting the same emotional outcomes over and over and over again. Looking back will turn into a pillar of salt, will fall apart because we're so consumed by what was that we don't even have a chance to look at what can be. We don't even have a chance to figure out, what do I want to create? What do I want? Because we are so consumed by who we were dating, the old job, the old city, the old friends, that we completely lose sight of the fact that we are still alive. Baby girl, if you're still listening to my podcast, you are alive and well. You have a whole entire present moment you should be paying attention to. Your past, let it die out. And how do you let your past die? You starve it of your attention. Don't look back like Lot's wife. Because if something's meant to be with you in your now or in your future, it will circle back around and come back so fast. It will come back. But you looking back at what was will not help you bring it into your present moment in a positive way. It will only cause you more hurt. If there's someone from your past that you want to bring back into your life, you cannot keep giving them all of your energy. Why? That's energetically chasing them. And anything we chase, whether it's a bug or a boy, will run away. Also, what would be the point of being so upset about our past that we then also give up our present moment? Looking back to your past, if there's something from your past that you actually want to bring into your present, you want it back, looking at your past will not help you do it. Why? Because you're looking at it through a lack lens. You're saying, I had it, and I don't have it anymore. So what are you doing? Broadcasting lack and attracting more lack. All we're doing is taking the negative emotions from our past and repeatedly manifesting similar emotional outcomes. And can I just be so for real? If something wants to leave your life, let it. Oh, let it. We cannot spend all of our time trying to tie people back to us. We can't spend all of our time trying to force people or things or situations into our life. If your old reality wants to go, let it go. Because let me just tell you right now, something so much better is going to take its place. I recently have left New York for the time being. And I've been in Florida, and I've made new friends, and I'm making new connections, and I'm allowing myself to try new classes, do new activities, just be a new person. And oh my God, does it feel so good to do? But if I keep looking back at my past, I'm going to get stagnant. I'm going to get stuck. And if I want to bring things from my past into my future, if I want any chance of that happening, I cannot be harboring on past negative emotions. It doesn't get us anywhere. No one is worth you not being true and authentic and alive in your present moment. No one is worth you giving up your present moment. Nothing is worth you giving up your present moment. So if we know that focusing on our past cause us to repeatedly manifest negative emotional outcomes, it energetically chases the thing from the past, so it doesn't actually help us bring that person or job back. We know it doesn't actually help at all. So what would help? You have to create a new vision to move towards. Right now, all you know is your past. That is what's in your mind. So what do you keep doing? You keep going back to your past. You keep going back to your past because that is your structure. You have to give your mind something to work towards. As much as we are divine, our bodies are very much like machines. And you have to input where you want your mind to go and what you want your mind to start to pay attention to, because that is what is going to manifest. That is what you're going to bring into your reality. When you think about graduating from high school, you might have some sadness about it, but what overpowers the sadness? The excitement for going to college, because you know that there's something else on the other side. You're moving towards something. When you're in a job and you get promoted, you're not so upset that you got promoted. You're excited that you're now going to be with a new title and more money. It's easier to see in certain circumstance why having a vision is so important. But when we go through a breakup or we're moving to a new city, sometimes we're overcome with fear that it's so much easier to focus on what we've known rather than what we can create, what we want to move towards. You have to develop a vision so clearly, so beautiful, so exciting, that your brain has a new direction, and 333 on my clock like every freaking week, that your brain has a new direction to move towards. Why is this important? Well, we need to get your brain on board. But two, if you don't give yourself a direction, baby girl, the devil will, okay? The dark forces of this world will. Your insecurities will. If you don't give yourself a direction to move towards, all of this festering negativity will take you down. My mom has always said that idle time is the devil's playground. And there's another quote that says the devil finds work for idle hands. Not having a vision for where you want to go will cause you to be so upset about your past, cause you to ache, and not allow you to be excited for anything. And we need to get you excited. So what is it that you want to create in your present moment? What is it that you want to create in your future? What do you want to move towards? The world is quite literally your oyster. The universe is constantly 24/7 reacting to your vibration. So what are you putting out there? What are you broadcasting? We have to become so clear with ourselves. Have a vision. Know our why, know our what, and the how will always be taken care of. I was listening to a podcast and I remember them saying that in order to move forward, we need some newness so we don't get bored, but we also need some certainty. So as we're creating this new vision, the way they were talking about it on this podcast, I said, you need one foot in what you know because you'll be too terrified if you just jump into everything completely new. But you also need one foot in the unknown. And this is something that they referred to as the meaningful interplay of opposites. And this is something that we've talked about before. We know that we need certainty. We need to know that we have a roof over our head and food on the table. We need to know that we have clothing on our back and free oxygen to breathe and a bed to go to sleep in. But if we have everything always the same, we wear the same thing, eat the same food, have the same conversations, we will get so stinking bored. We need one foot in the known, in the certainty, and we need one foot in the uncertainty, in the variety. So let's say you have completely outgrown your fishbowl and you are now thrown into the ocean like so many of us have been feeling and doing. I want you, as you're creating a new vision, also think to yourself, what are familiar patterns that I can have in my life? What are familiar hobbies that I can bring into my life so I am not completely in shock? For me, it's doing yoga. I need a consistent workout schedule, yoga being very much a part of that schedule, for me to feel grounded in something. I recommend you do something that's body-based so that your spirit is literally forced to be in your body. Any sort of meditation, movement, journaling, it will allow you to be in your own body instead of body bouncing into your past or into your future. Take space to just listen to yourself, to your intuition, because if you're in the unknown, most likely there's going to be a lot of emotions, but also a lot of fear. A lot of fear. And if fear is the loudest voice in our head, it most likely is going to be making the decisions for us. So we not only want to have a vision for the future, we not only want to introduce or reintroduce familiar habits, whether it's cooking or doing a workout schedule, but we also want to make space to listen, to get quiet. There are so many distractions. The world is moving energetically very quickly right now. But that doesn't mean that we have to too. That doesn't mean we need to wreck ourselves and follow along with everybody else. Take your time. Breathe it out. feel it out, live it out. If you are not sure what to do, it's okay. Make the best decision you can possibly make and rely on your intuition. That's all. Understand that the season that you're in right now, it's not forever. It might be painful, it might be chaotic, but it's not forever. And one day you're going to have so much consistency, so much certainty that you're probably going to be bored and say, damn, I wish I could go back when I was discovering all those new parts of me. I really missed that season when everything was new and everything was exciting. Now it's like I'm a pro at my own damn life. And you know what? Sometimes being a master on the mountain isn't as wonderful as being a new beginner, because the new beginner on the mountain has new insights and new ideas and thinks about things that maybe the master would have never even went so far to conceive. Everything that is happening in your life, I promise you, it's happening for you. We have to remember the book of Job. He didn't understand that the devil and God made a deal. He didn't understand that the devil was just playing with him. He thought, well, his friends really thought that he must have done something bad and he was being punished. They thought that he hurt God's feelings and so God was punishing him. But really, God told the devil, you can pick on Job because he will never turn against me. The devil picked Job because he was such an amazing, upright man. Instead of trying to understand why everything is happening, how about we just get ourselves through this season and say, for some reason, whatever it may be, this is happening for me. And I might not know why now, but eventually I will. Think about the past experiences. You didn't know how the dots were going to connect, but did they? Of course they did, because they always do. We were never promised we were always going to know why things were happening. But what we were promised was a human experience where we could feel a range of different emotions: happy, sad, mad, glad, surprised, certain, uncertain. Instead of looking at this time so fearful, can we look at this as if we were a child? Can we look at this as a child looks at the world in wonder and awe? I was with my cousin today and we were walking around and we sat down and we were watching these kids play in this waterfall. And the waterfall is almost like a hose and it squirted out of the ground and it hit the kid right in the eye. And we both went, ooh, because we thought he was going to scream and cry. It must have hurt him. And you know what he did? He laughed. He goes, ah, ha, 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 ha. Ah, ha, ha, ha. This kid, I was shocked. I almost started crying for him. He took this experience where water shot into his eye. It definitely hurt him. And he laughed at it. What if we took some of that childlike energy and said, you know what? I'm just going to bring some humor to the table. I don't know why this is happening. I am so confused. But you know what? I'm just going to laugh about this. I will just send my love to this or that past person, and I'm just going to keep it moving and grooving because I really don't know what exactly is going on right now. And you know what? Knowing why is something happening is really not my job. Experiencing it, that's my job. Feeling the emotions, that's my job. Please give yourself some compassion in this season. Just try your best. And what are we doing? We are creating a new vision for the future. We are still incorporating habits that allow us to have certainty, like working out, like taking a walk, grounding ourselves. And what are we doing? We're taking space to listen through meditation, through speaking to God. We're taking space to allow in miracles, to allow in divinity. My dad is getting a knee surgery and he was so concerned about anesthesia at first because he never had it before. And my mom was telling him, oh, the anesthesia is the easiest part because you don't have to do anything. You have to get yourself there. You have to get yourself home. You're going to have to heal afterwards. But the anesthesia, you don't have to do anything. All you have to do is receive it. And that's exactly how this universe works. That's how God works. We don't have to do everything all of the time. We just have to be open to receiving the blessings and the miracles. It is like anesthesia. Yeah, you have to do some aligned action. You got to heal afterwards. You got to get yourself to the damn hospital. But you have to really understand that there are some things that are your job, like knowing your vision and not harping on the past. And then the other part of this is God's job. The how, the unfolding of it all, the miracle, the mystical, the mystery. That's God's job. Don't worry about that part. In my book, Show Up As Her, I talk a lot about seeing things from God's point of view in the last chapter instead of seeing it from our human point of view. Because our human point of view has a lot of funky ideas about planet Earth. It has a lot of funky ideas about our self-confidence, our self-worth, who we are. And that can be really damning when we're going through a breakup or going through a transition and we so badly just want to go back to what was easy and familiar. I want you for a second to raise your perspective from your human eyes to God's eyes or your higher self's eyes. What do you think they would tell you about this situation? Would they tell you that you lost the love of your life and are never going to have love again? Would they tell you that you're doomed? Would they tell you that you're going to die alone? Would they tell you that you're never going to find another job? Would they tell you that you're going to be friendless forever? Or would they say, actually, this is unfolding for you, so you can get more because you've been asking for more, so that you can receive what's actually in alignment with you rather than just accepting and settling things that feel so super wrong to you? You've been asking for more and now you're getting more. Does it look like exactly how you thought? Maybe not. Does it feel like rainbows and butterflies? Oh, definitely not. Oh, definitely not, because we're human. But is it working out for your highest good? I have no reason to believe anything, then that is absolutely true. Why? Because every time I thought something was the worst thing that ever happened to me, it ended up being the best. Every time. Consistently prune your mind to find the silver lining. Consistently massage your neurological pathways to find the flowers in the mud. And if you're having trouble finding the flowers in the mud, that is fine. If you don't have the resources, that's fine, but you can be resourceful and plant your own damn seeds. Do what you need to do. Create the new vision and take it day by day by day. Whatever you're going through, you're going to get through it. You're going to get through it. You wouldn't be experiencing this if you could not. And I refuse to believe, well, number one, why do I refuse to believe this? I refuse to believe that everything is random and nothing makes sense, because that feels terrible. But also, I have too much evidence for the contrary. I have too much evidence that things do happen for our best self, for alignment, for aligning ourselves with our true desires. I'm not going to sit here and tell you to revel in the chaos. Absolutely not. Create a vision. Have hobbies and activities that are familiar to ground you. Create space to listen to your guides, your intuition. Connect with God. My mom recently sent me this novena, and it's all about surrendering to Jesus. And again, if you're not a Catholic or a Christian, or I don't know, what do Protestants believe? I have no idea. It doesn't matter. You can talk to Jesus. Jesus is our brother. Oh my God, I could cry that Jesus loves us so much and he is our brother. I don't care where you come from or what walk of life you are. He is an ascended master and he loves you and he loves me and he's always there for us, okay? And if you're really struggling right now, connect to him. Obviously, I'm in the trenches with you guys. Obviously, I'm experiencing this too. And I did this prayer last night. If anybody wants it, just DM me. I'll send you the file, the whole thing. But I did this novena last night and I just had a beautiful dream that there was a huge wooden cross outside my window. And I just know that Jesus heard me and he hears you too. You just have to call on him. Just raise your voice and use your voice. He's listening. God is listening. The ascended masters, Mother Mary, she's listening. Open yourself to these beings and let them help you. please, if you want it's a 9-day novena where you do a little prayer every single day, and I'm on day 2. But at the end of each day, it says, "Oh Jesus, I surrender myself to you. Take care of everything. Oh Jesus, I surrender myself to you. Take care of everything. Oh Jesus, I surrender myself to you. Take care of everything. Oh Jesus, I surrender myself to you. Take care of everything. Oh Jesus, I surrender myself to you. Take care of everything." If you're struggling, please DM me. I will send you this novena. You can also just use the exact words I just said, but there's more in this written out pamphlet. I know it can be so scary. I sometimes feel scared too, but that is never, ever a good enough reason to stop moving forward. It's never a good enough reason to go back to our past because we're scared or nervous or we fear the unknown. It's not a good enough reason. It's just not. It's not. We can't keep replaying the same cycles or rewriting the same stories because we're scared. You're going to be scared. It's not a good enough reason to stop. You have to move forward. And how do you move forward? You create a vision. You have familiarity. You listen to God. You open yourself up to Jesus. And I'm telling you, it will make it easier. It's not going to be a cakewalk all the time. That's not why we came to this planet. But it will help you. It will help you. And this prayer is a gift my mom gave to me, and I will be happy to gift it to you as well. Goodness. I love you so much. Thank you for being here with me. If you enjoyed the podcast, please support the launch of Show Up As Her. And I love you, and I'm here with you, and so is Jesus, so is God, so is the Blessed Mother. And we're going to get through this together. I will see you in the next one.